6:30, and it's time to call tonight's meeting to order. We're going to go ahead and start like we always do with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This is a meeting of the school board for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business. It is not to be considered a public community meeting. Public comments are limited to the items on the agenda. There will be a time for public participation as indicated by agenda item number 5. The board receives agenda item information and rationale for administrative recommendations for their thorough review before each meeting. We will go ahead and start. There's no media to recognize tonight, so we're going to go with our students of the month. So from Whitko High School, junior, senior high, a junior, William Kripe, has been nominated by Mike Hanback.
Will can't be here tonight. He's working. I just want to tell you a quick story. This is Will Kripe. He's in my 8th period ICP class in integrated chemistry and physics. And if I just ask a question, just throw out a question, everybody just sits there. And pretty soon, Will raise his hand and answer the question. A little bit later, I'll do the same thing. I'll just throw out a question. Nobody will say anything. Pretty soon, Will speaks up. He always has the right answer. He is more than willing to share that answer, usually along with a story to go with it. But it's just Will, and he's just one of those students that just shines, and it just makes you glad that you're in front and you have people like him that you're working with.
Our congratulations go out to Will. And just go ahead and stay right there, Mr. Hanback, because we're going to recognize sophomore Anna Kraft, also nominated by Mr. Hanback.
Anna is also in one of my ICP classes. She is the stellar student in that class, always gets her work done. Wonderful young lady, willing to talk, willing to share. And she's also a member of the cheerleading program there at school. So I always get to hear all the ins and outs about what's going on with the cheerleading program. So Anna, again, just a wonderful student.
Our congratulations go out to Anna. Thank you, Mr. Hanback. For our freshman student of the month, we have Taylor Tarleton, nominated by John Fullenkamp. Is Taylor here? Oh. Yeah, go ahead, Mrs. Clark.
John Felt, he nominated her because she is an exceptional math student, and he said that he would expect she is exceptional in all of her classes. She comes to class each day prepared, focused, and ready to learn. Taylor is very respectful to everyone and is willing to help any of her classmates. She always listens very intently, asks insightful questions, and her work is easy to follow and understand. Taylor is an excellent example of the type of student every teacher wants in their classroom. Taylor Tarleton.
From the 8th grade class is Carly Woodard, nominated by Carissa Wilson.
All right, so I've got Carly here. So I nominated Carly because she's always kind to everyone in class, and she gets her work done. You try your best, and you're just great in class, and I love being with you. All right. Thanks, guys.
Congratulations, Carly. Seventh grader, nominated by Diana Nettleton, is Abby Shepard.
So Abby Shepard, Diana, said that she is always diligent about her classwork. She really thinks and pays attention to making sure she does a great job with her classwork and just behaving well in class. It's really important to her to listen and do her best. She is a kind friend to several students. She always is smiling and wants to everyone to feel welcome in all of her classes and with her throughout the school day. That's Abby Shepard.
And our congratulations go out to Abby. WCA sophomore, nominated by Ken Johns, is Marissa Alley.
All right. Well, first off, even though she may act as mature as a sophomore at times, Marissa here is only a freshman. So I've known her since she was an 8th grader. Got to work with her a little bit. And when she walked into my class, there's a lot of words that people had used to describe her, and I could agree with some of them. She walked into class, and she was tentative, timid, anxious at times. Basically, she wanted to stay inside of her shell. She wanted to be in that comfort zone. But since then, in the 9 weeks that we've had, she has not only come out of that shell and that comfort zone, but she has participated in the Skillathon CDE and done pretty well at it. She was one of our alternates to go to state. She has become more social. She's learned that nothing really grows inside that comfort zone. So, now if I had to describe this young lady, she would still be considered shy at times, but every day when she comes into class, she brings a smile. She brings energy. She's not considered anxious until you start talking about national convention this week. An example would be that last week we had an issue with doing some work down, not last week, sorry, the week before break. We had an issue with some of the equipment working down by the pond. Well, she told me I could not use a weed eater. Well, today she tried that line on me again. By the time class was done, not only had she picked up the weed eater, been using it, she did a great job clearing out a section down there that I think would make Mr. Wursler happy at this point. She has really come out of that comfort zone. She's made an effort to really become that well-rounded member, and I see a lot of great things in her future. With that, Marissa Alley.
Congratulations, Marissa. South Whitley Elementary School first grader, nominated by Angie Tranter, is Mason Watterson.
So I have Mason Watterson. He is our October Student of the Month. Mason is a very hard worker and knows exactly how and when to use his sense of humor to add more fun to our school day. Mason can problem solve for himself and his classmates, so he is someone that his peers look up to. I just want to thank Mason for always being a ray of sunshine in our day, for classmates and for teachers.
From Pearson Elementary, fourth grader, nominated by Dana Justice, is Emily Bingham.
Emily is super smart, always on task, ready before being asked to be, contributes in class, and is very kind to everyone she meets. She exemplifies what it is to be a Pearston Cub. She was, just before fall break, announced as treasurer of our student council, and also has made honor roll. And I am super blessed to have her in my class.
Congratulations, Emily. And last but not least, Whitko Junior Senior High senior, nominated by Antimony Fox, is Savannah Clark. We can hold off. We'll go ahead and do that in a little bit then. Thank you, Mrs. Fox. All right, we do have a special presentation tonight from JAG, which is Jobs for Americans Graduates, and it'll be presented by Mrs. Clark.
Hello. How are you guys tonight? I wanted to just share a little bit about our JAG program that we would love to partner with. JAG stands for Jobs for America's Graduates program. It is a state-based program. It's actually national nonprofit organization that help with our high school students that maybe struggle with graduating from high school. The students that usually qualify for this program are students that have experienced traumatic events. So there are a list of different life experiences that the students would fill out with the guidance counselor. Anything ranging from poverty, from trauma, to maybe being the caregiver in the household because of their parents both working more shifts and helping with the children at home, the other younger siblings, just a lot of different life experiences that may keep them from wanting to continue graduating, and so they feel that they're kind of backed into a corner and may need to just quit school and get a job and help out in that sense. So that's where the JAG program comes in, and they're like a mentor to these students that would qualify through those traumatic life experiences. They work with those students as a mentor. There would be a teacher on staff that's actually employed by, through the grant, through the JAG program, which also partners with the Indiana Department of Workforce Development. And that teacher is like the mentor, as I said, and they work with those students every day, helping them just with certain life skills, things like filling out resumes, college applications, tax forms, things that they're probably getting in some of their other classes, possibly in English classes or at the Career Academy. But it even takes it a step deeper because of that one-on-one mentorship with the person, the teacher from the JAG program. It's also something where they help find jobs after high school if they, get them to the graduation rate, which is their goal. And then they stay a mentor with that student for a year after graduation. So again, they are continuing to mentor that student, make sure they're still employed, make sure they have that, building their confidence, making sure they have resources that they need in order to be successful. And a lot of the students actually go on to attend colleges as well, or get into a job where they are very successful for themselves, and to be able to help their families, but also themselves. About 95% of the students that do graduate through the JAG program do enter post-secondary school. And so the mentor then also works with those students as well to do some onboarding, to make sure that they're doing well with their college classes, if that's what they take, or if it's at a trade school after high school, whatever they need, they meet with them on a continuous basis. Just a couple stats. The graduation rate for the students that go through the grad program with JAG is 97%. Our state of Indiana, the graduation rate is 89%, And currently, Whitko's last year was 87%. So this would be something that we feel, would reach those students that, again, have those traumatic or challenging life experiences, to just give them that extra boost and confidence and help to get to that graduation day and be able to graduate.
Students would we be able to put through this program? Is there a limit?
They would like to have 40, but if they would start second semester, they would want 20.
And then work up to 40 next year?
Yes.
And I think I heard you say that each student would be followed for an entire year after graduation?
Yes.
Mentored, et cetera?
Yes.
Okay. And this is fully funded by the state, is that correct?
Yes, it is. Yep, fully funded by the state. The teacher, they actually interview the teacher. They get our input as well, but they hire the teacher, interview the teacher. There may be times when we would have to use like our building sub to sub for them once in a while, maybe like twice a 9 weeks, where that teacher goes to some other training for the JAG program.
And is this a accredited class? Like, would they get 1 credit for being in that class?
Yes, they would get a credit. And
that would be part of their pathway?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So do they start as juniors?
They can start as juniors. We would look for seniors first, and then move down to the juniors, and then sophomores if we would need to.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Anyone else have a question? Thank you, Mrs. Clark.
Yep,
That
you're
sounds
welcome.
very encouraging. We're going to go ahead and do headliners, then we'll back up to our last student of the month. I think she is here now. So we have a couple things here for headliners tonight. We just want to recognize Kendall Bollinger and wish him luck. He is going to run in the cross-country regional competition this Saturday, October 26th at 11 o'clock down at the Huntington University cross-country course. So good luck to Kendall on that. We also want to congratulate Whitko track and field standout Gwen Howard for recently committing to continuing her throwing career for Duke University. Duke is ranked 6th in the nation for best colleges academically, and their track and field team won the 2024 ACC Outdoor Track and Field Competition for the 2nd year in a row. And we are very proud to know that Gwen will be an asset to Duke, both athletically and academically. Whitko's Marching Pride walked the plank with their pirate-themed show at Lucas Oil Stadium last weekend in the Bands of America Indianapolis Super Regional. The Cats made us proud with an exceptional showing and were complimented by so many people, including parents from competing schools. This group of scallywags have worked hard and are deserving of our praise. And finally, Whitko will host Eastside in the first round of the football sectionals this Friday, October 25th, right here at Whitko. It starts at 7 o'clock. Tickets are $7. And season passes for staff, faculty, and students are not accepted as this is a sectional event. All right, we're going to back up to our final student of the month. Senior Savannah Clark was nominated by Antimony Fox.
All right, I have Savannah first thing in the morning, and she always comes in a good mood, which for a senior in the morning at 8 o'clock is a rare thing. She always works hard, and she always makes sure that she understands everything that we're working on, whether that's in class asking me questions or sending me emails from her study hall as she works on something. She always just makes sure that she understands what she's doing. She is not only just cheerful and always in a good mood, she's also very kind. Every time that we have a conversation, she always says thank you, whether that's in person or through her emails. I always know to expect that. And she doesn't let anyone or anything stop her from working to get what she wants, and that mindset will help her as she continues her studies working in the criminal justice field after college or after high school.
Congratulations, Savannah. We're so glad you could make it. At this time, any students of the month and their families that would like to leave, you're welcome to do so. We're going to move on into our reports. We have principal and director reports, and tonight we're going to start with Christy Hoppert from Pearston Elementary.
Good evening. The first thing I want to start off with, I guess this is coming up real quick, October 28th through November 1st. We've paired up with SAD from the junior high school. So I want to thank Tracy Rhodes for inviting the elementaries to participate in a variety of activities K through 6th grade that week. We got a lot going on. I think it'll be fun and both educational and fun for those kids. November 1st, Aaron's Law presentations through SCAN. This is for all grade levels, elementary-wise. This is really just some education about neglect and abuse and just educating children to know what those signs are, that they do have a voice and can advocate for themselves, and they do have resources, that kind of thing. November 6th, we have our Q1 Student Awards program. This is from 8:30 to noon in the Pearston Elementary gym. November 8th is our Veterans Day program from 9 to 10 a.m. in the Pearston gym. And I know we're going to be featuring a slideshow. A lot of the kids and staff members have contributed photos for that. I'm thinking that there might be some guest speakers that they're working on as well. So cookies and punch will also be served. So we'll have kind of a little get together after that program in the cafeteria. November 13th is our next PTO meeting from 6 to 7 in the library. One of the main focuses this year is to help raise money for our playground equipment. So as you know, that's quite expensive, so we're trying to match what Whitko can give us to be able to purchase some good, strong, sturdy, I hope it lasts a long time, playground equipment. One of the ideas for October 26th, this is coming up on Saturday, is a chili dinner. It's a free donation. It will be in the community building behind the fire station, and that's from 4 to 7. So we've posted flyers throughout our building. Those got mailed home in student folders. Our Facebook, we've had trouble with Facebook, but we've tried to get it out through other media outlets as we can. So I hope we have a good turnout for that. November 22nd, Professor Wow's Blast Off into Space program. This just ties into some of our science standards and some of the ARC units coming up. And that is from 12 to 2:30 p.m. And we're just kind of doing grade rotations through that in the gym. And then November 25th and 26th, the Digitarium, all grades. There will also be rotations. And she just left, but I want to thank LTU for heading that up again. That's kind of been her thing the last several years, and she wants to continue that. The kids really learn a lot and have fun with that. For upcoming professional development, just some highlights. On November 19th, I Learn Checkpoints workshop. Both elementary principals, and I think we're going to be joining Jody as well. We'll attend the Four Winds Casino Conference, just trying to learn more about data, what to do with that iLearn, piloting data. We're doing math this year, and just anything that we can learn that we haven't read about, I'm sure, and all the IDOE memos coming out. So November 14th and the 21st, we just have some ARC leadership and virtual visits at Pearston. And I think that's it. And that was my quick rundown. Any questions?
That was a lot.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the IDOE conference at Four Winds Casino, the location was not chosen by Whitko schools and other schools for training, but that is the location, yes. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Hallsoppel from South Whitley Elementary School.
So speaking of the IDOE, we are in the iLearn's Checkpoint. It's an iLearn Checkpoint pilot program for math this year, both elementaries. So our grades 3 through 6 teachers are preparing to administer that. At South Whitley, we'll begin our testing the week of October 28th. Normally, the iLearn testing takes 3 to 4 weeks to get everybody through, to get all the makeups done. but we should be done in 2 weeks because each grade level, will take one test. It lasts between 45 to 60 minutes. They just have to do it one day. So we're excited to see what that looks like because next year we know that they're going to be doing that more. The state's going to be doing the multiple checkpoints instead of just one in the spring. We do have our parent-teacher conferences were Tuesday and Thursday, October 1st and 3rd. We had 328 conferences and 95% of our students were represented. So it's a wonderful time to continue to build our school community partnership. We do have a Veterans Day program scheduled for November 11th that we're working at planning. And teachers are working in their grade levels to make the best instructional decisions for our students. And again, we are so thankful for our families and the opportunity to serve them. Thank you.
Thank you. From Whitko Career Academy, we have Mr. Chris Benedict.
Good evening. We would like to recognize our highlighted senior this month in our work-based learning program is Kaylee Atkins. She works right here at Early Learning, Little Cats Early Learning Center. She has completed her early childhood and her education profession pathway, both of those pathways, and she's a tremendous employee. She does plan to intend to pursue a degree in elementary education, and she's one that we would definitely want to consider grow your own with. She is a fantastic young lady. We're in the process of completing our 30A report, which is our report that determines all of our CTE funding for the school corporation. The initial report was due on the 16th. We got that sent away already. We can make amendments up to October 30th, and then the final submission with superintendent sign-off is November 6th. So that should be taking care of all of our CTE funding for the year. We're currently working with Region 8 and meeting with a lot of other schools in collaboration with the new requirements in terms of work-based learning opportunities. If the new graduation requirements go 75 hours for every student, not just selected senior students, every student in the 7th grade class would have to meet that requirement if that new diploma tack gets passed. So working with a lot of different business leaders, trying to create some opportunities and partnerships with them to make sure that we're ready to do that when that rolls out. We are meeting tomorrow morning with 3 business leaders in our community to talk about our precision machining and engineering pathways and try to set up those work-based learning opportunities to make that a 2-year commitment with their junior and senior year to kind of make them get acclimated with that company a little bit earlier before that first existence that senior year, so they have a little bit more stake in the game and to getting more curriculum based upon what's real world application with our NLPS curriculum as well. So looking forward to that tomorrow morning. Our construction trades department is continuing to work on that manufactured trailer that for Giving Gardens that's sitting in the back. I'm sure you see that in the back as you pull up. The morning and afternoon classes are working diligently to get that project completed, hopefully by Christmas break. We'll be meeting with Ben Carter from Inspire Success. Ben is a consultant that works with a number of CTE districts throughout the state and the Don Wood Foundation to look at our initial grant from the Wood Foundation, how that grant money was utilized, the machines, the things that we got from that grant, how that has impacted our student learning. So that's just a follow-up with the Wood Foundation, and Ben Carter will be running that through us as well. We continue to give tours here at the Academy. Last week we met with Mount Vernon of Hancock County to specifically kind of talk about our work-based learning and our capstone opportunities. And again, superintendent, business manager, principal, their CTE director, and their work-based learning person all came to visit our facility, and again, blown away with the amount of things that we were able to offer here at a small school. So that's, our word continues to get out, our message continues to get out, and people continue to call and want to see our place and kind of know what our programming is like and what we're doing. Final edition, just got this over fall break. We would like to recognize and congratulate Peyton Leon, who recently placed second in the Career and Technical Education Essay Contest through the Journal Gazette. Peyton's essay will be published on October 26th, and she will receive a $300 prize for her essay. Madison Kripe was also received honorable mention for that essay as well. Okay. Any questions?
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much. From Whitko Junior Senior High, we have Jody Clark.
Just a few things. We gave our PSAT test the week before fall break, and that is given out to all 10th grade students. It is a kind of a precursor to the SAT test. It will let students know basically what they would possibly score on their SAT test that is taken their junior year, which is one of the requirements for the state for graduation. They will receive their scores on October 24th for those test scores, and they can obtain those on College Board, and we can also provide those test scores as well. We are also, of course, doing the iLearn checkpoints, piloting the math as well. Our 8th grade took their checkpoint number 1 before fall break, and our 7th grade will be taking checkpoint number 1 next week. And those results will hopefully be available within the next few weeks as well. And as you know, Joel has pointed out, we're excited to kind of see how that matches up with the actual iLearn test and the state standards, and kind of being able to go and move forward with our curriculum alignment. We also took part in the Aaron's Law presentation. Our guidance counselors did that for grades 7 through 12. It was a different program for 7th and 8th, and then high school had one as well. As Christy mentioned, it is about how to recognize abuse and how to address it. We also included a bullying program as well. Mr. Maurer presented that during the same time period, just as part of our safety grant to fulfill those obligations. We did have a homecoming dance that hasn't been happening for several years, and so that took place after our homecoming football game, and that was actually put on by the drama club, and we had a really great turnout, and the kids were just dancing like crazy. It was really fun to watch them, and they really had a good time. Our staff, we had a celebration the Monday before fall break, just to kind of celebrate one another for all of their hard work this past 9 weeks, and kind of a culmination of that, and just kind of a kickoff to our fall break. So we celebrated with a breakfast and just some social time, just to, you know, again, just kind of take a breath and just celebrate all that they have put in for that first 9 weeks and the great start to the school year. We also held parent conferences the week prior to fall break as well, and we had over 100 parents come. And one thing that we did differently this year is I had the teachers send out via Parent Square any students that had failing grades to all the parents that they shared that they wanted to really make sure to talk with those parents and hope that they would come to the parent conferences. And any parents that they wanted to send just positive Parent Square messages to, that, you know, just were more on the positive of, you know, your student is doing a great job, and we'd still love to see you come as well, but just having those positive celebrations as well. Some of the teachers mentioned that they did see more parents come to the conferences by doing that and sending those messages through Parent Square. We had our 8th grade football team. They ended up being able to play in the championship game for the conference. Unfortunately, they lost by 6, but we celebrated them the day of their game, and we had them do a walk to the championship. And so they walked through the hallways as a team with their coaches, and we played, you know, a song over the intercom system, and they had all the classes come out into the hallway and give them high fives. And so they were excited about that, just to get them a little pumped up. Our Sunshine Society, they helped load supplies for the hurricane victims. I believe the FFA actually collected supplies, and then the Sunshine Society was able to go over to Warsaw and help load those up through the World Compass Network, and those supplies were heading down to North Carolina for the hurricane victims there. We held our fall band concert, which I know was mentioned, from grades 7 through 12 on October 10th, and it was a huge success. I know I saw a few of you there, and I was just amazed. It was really cool. I felt like I was at Broadway because they just did such a great job. The last home volleyball game, our volleyball players honored a staff member. So each player got to choose a staff member that impacted them in some way. And then they introduced that staff member. They walked out onto the court with that staff member, and then they announced the reasons why they impacted them, which I thought was really neat to honor those, not necessarily a teacher, but just somebody that was a staff member. And I believe it was already mentioned, but our varsity volleyball girls, they did win the first round of the sectional, and it was exciting to watch, and they did a really good job and had a great season. And of course, you already mentioned our cross-country runner as well. So in our football game this Friday is the sectional game, and so we wish them luck. Do you have any questions? Okay.
Thank you so much. Director of Operations, Rhonda Snavely.
Good evening. In transportation, we were able to purchase new radios the last month or so, and they were installed over fall break. All the buses were equipped with new radios. I've been going around to the buildings installing new base radios for the buildings, and we had 10 new handhelds, and then some of our older radios that weren't really old, but just a little old, were able to be reprogrammed and redistributed as well. I haven't had a chance to test them from the far boundary lines yet, but from what I've heard, they are crystal clear and big improvement from what we've had in the past. Next couple weeks, we're going to be getting the trucks and the plows ready for the dreaded winter. I think I reported last month that we have our salt and our sand in our barn, and it's ready to go. Robin's been working to cover all the winter sports. And I think she just has a few left that she needs a driver for. Our big thing that I want to focus on the next couple months is driver recruitment. I've had conversations with 3 drivers that are planning on retiring at the end of the year. As everyone knows, our drivers are getting older, and they are at least at retirement age, if not could have gone a long time ago had they not had a love for kids and driving our kids. So they've done a good job, but we still need to look at ways to replace them with good drivers and good people. Maintenance-wise, we had a huge tree removed at Pierceton Elementary over fall break. That came in kind of quick, and I was glad that they were able to get that done over break. One of the other people couldn't get to it for at least a month. Shamball was in over fall break and inspected all the fire extinguishers, and they should be up and good at all the buildings as well as all the buses in the bus shop. The insurance company has been going around and inspecting all of our boilers and pressure vessels, and I updated all the permits for those over the last few weeks. The tower that we've been talking about for at least a year and a half here at this building is up. They just have a few finished things to hook up, and then we're going to get a startup date for that. So to me, that's really exciting to be able to just check that off my box, because that's been on like everything I've had for the last year and a half. Chillers were drained over fall break. Some of the boilers were turned on. This one we're kind of holding off on until we get that chiller finished up. D-Wing project, the restrooms the D-Wing restrooms that were the old restrooms, the floors down. They're working at installing the Bradleys, the partitions, and then they'll work on the urinals and the stools. They've done final painting on the block. They have the lights up, so that's progressing right along. We were hoping it would be finished by the time school started, but things got back ordered, so hopefully it won't be too much longer. All of the lower windows have been installed. We got the uppers a couple weeks ago. So the lowers make a big difference because that allows you to open some of those windows up and get some air moving. All of the block walls have been painted. The doors are up, and they've been working on the door hardware and installing all the cores this week. The steel structure out back for the new E-wing. They said they were going to start putting up the steel, and within like a couple days, it was amazing how fast that went up. So it's really looking like a building now. Once that's finished, they'll start backfilling the steel, and then they'll be able to start putting up some of the walls. They've been working on the Trazo to even it out so that they can get that completed where they all come together in the old building down by the science rooms. And then they've been pulling all the cables for the cameras and the key card accesses and just getting everything ready so that when those things are ready to be installed, they'll be ready to hook up. Anybody have any questions?
I was just wondering, are we going to have the lockers in the new section like the first section, or are they going to be in the hallway?
I'll be honest, I'm not sure. That's something I'll check into and I'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I'm really hoping. I know the Bradleys were on back order, so they were holding everything up for the last couple months. So they were looking like they were going to be in the end of this month. So we have a meeting tomorrow, so hopefully I'll get an update then.
Okay.
So, and I'll get back to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. Director of Special Services, Carrie Walmer.
The special services portion of the website has been updated. These additions are going to provide parents with resources, including information about our Title I and high ability programs. Additionally, the website will feature details on our mental health services, special education resources, and the English language program to support the diverse needs of our students. Part B 611 and 619 grants closed last Friday. So I've been working with Lynn to ensure that our funds for that are allocated appropriately. These grants primarily support certified staff salaries and services from educational agencies such as the NCI Co-op for our shared services of PT and OT. I'm working on conducting an equity-focused root cause analysis to examine how historical inequities have influenced our current challenges. This analysis specifically addresses the overrepresentation of white students identified with an emotional disability within our corporation. A review of our district policies, procedures, and practices will be part of this to make sure that we are identifying students appropriately. We have been awarded the McKinney-Vento grant, which will be instrumental in providing essential resources to support our students and families experiencing homelessness or unstable housing. So we can utilize the grant to purchase basic need items such as clothing, hygiene products, and school supplies. Do you have any questions? Okay.
Thank you so much. Whitko Early Learning Center Director, Rachel Hardy.
Sorry. I want to start off by recognizing Barb Martz and Anna Hall's class. She has students come down to the Early Learning Academy each day, and they clean our before and after school room. So they're vacuuming our floors and they're cleaning our tables, and overall they just make the entire atmosphere better. So I really appreciate that. And then she has a couple of her students come down and take our trash to us so that we can throw it before breakfast and after breakfast and before lunch and after lunch. So we really appreciate that partnership and being able to work in the classroom there. A couple of our professional development trainings that we had, our conscious discipline training went really well. We had 16 out of our 18 staff members attend that, and we are currently implementing the components that we were able to take away from that conference into the classrooms to help support social emotional learning within our classrooms for the kids. And staff members were allowed, they received 6 hours of professional development hours through that, which was paid for through Launchpad. So we appreciate their partnership as well. We have our creative curriculum training went well. We learned a lot of different ways to implement the curriculum. We have started implementing the curriculum into the classrooms, and it's been really fun watching all of the activities that have been taking place. Our preschool kids got to bake apple muffins. They had a lot of fun doing it, but they did not enjoy eating them. But it was a good experience for them, and we got to utilize our kitchen with that. Through this curriculum, we have a couple of our staff members that are able to utilize the non-formal CDA courses so that they can begin the process of earning their CDA. And then all staff now have access to online professional development courses through that curriculum as well. And then we were able to have Dawn Cole Easter Day come in through OE Castle, which is, she represents the Office of Early Childhood Out of School Learning, and she met with all of our other staff members who want to get their associate's degree and then their formal CDA going. 3 of our staff members submitted their application, and now we're just waiting to get the classes going with that. So we appreciated her coming in and meeting with all of our staff. We also submitted our application to accept On My Way pre-K vouchers, and we got accepted. We have 2 students that are currently able to utilize those vouchers, 4-year-olds. And then with that, we moved from PAS to Quality 1 to PAS to Quality 4 because we're accepting On My Way pre-K vouchers. We will have an answer about our infant toddler playground here in November, so we're anxiously awaiting that. And then upcoming events. On Saturday, we will be helping Holly Hummage at the Trick or Treat on the Trails, and we will be hosting the activities and game portion, and we'll be located on the splash pad. So we'll be representing Whitko Early Learning Academy. That will start at 3 and end at 5, and then we'll probably continue our games throughout, but then Holly has a movie and s'mores for the families to enjoy as well. So we're excited about that as well. Any questions?
Yep. Rachel. Caleb Logan, Alternative Services.
Good evening. I just want to share quickly from kind of each of my sections that fall under alternative services. For corporation testing, as you've heard from a lot of our building principals, is up and underway, especially with iLearn, with the new iLearn checkpoints a little earlier than previously. We've always done those in the spring, and our principals and people in our buildings have done a good job of getting prepared for that, with the high school obviously using our as kind of the guinea pigs for Whitko with our 8th graders, and the testing day went pretty smoothly, and as you heard, our elementaries are going to start at the end of the month, leaving us plenty of time, which our window ends the 15th of November, which will give us plenty of time for retakes, though sure all of our students have been tested. For our alternative school, our program renewal application was submitted to the state at the end of September, and we're waiting to hear back on that, but that's just a yearly process that we have to do to stay accredited through the state. Then I want to give a shout out to Mr. Stone and the students in the alternative school. Prior to fall break, so two weeks ago, the students left and had completed 51 credits in the first 9 weeks, which with the number of students in there is a pretty high achievement, and that number of students looks to grow. We have several meetings scheduled here in the coming weeks that will add students to that room, so the credit total for credit recovery should continue to grow as well. For the homeschool pathway, we have students kind of split into two different categories. We have some students who are virtual learners who, by nature of placement through special services and things of that nature, but our homeschool pathway, which are strictly students who are either maybe not from the Whitko district or who are we obtain who are previously homeschooled and are using resources from Whitko to complete that schooling as they get into junior and senior high school. Previously, last year, we had where less than 25% of our students were on track with that program at this time last year. Currently, with all of our students in that program through the homeschool pathway, currently at the 9 weeks, 100% of our students are on track to finish their classes by the end of this semester in December. And then just overall, with all of our avenues of using virtual learning through credit recovery, the alternative school, and the homeschool pathway, we have 75 students using the programs and have completed 89 credits as of the first 9 weeks. Any question? Thank you.
And finally, Teresa Netbull, Technology, Curriculum, and Testing Schedule.
Good evening. I'll start with technology. During fall break, Winona IT came and replaced all the switchers, the bad switchers at WJHS, as well as Pearson facilities, and this will ensure less internet interruptions and power outages going forward, which is good. Right now, the IT department have been doing a lot of cleaning up. For example, the staff directory is now up to date on the website, and they are working on our email groups, cleaning up, removing the old accounts from teachers and students. We've had quite a few groups like graduating class of 2024, 2022. They're still there. So they're working on cleaning all those out, making more room. And then the IT ticket process, they've worked on improving that. Now when a ticket is completed, the recipient will receive a message refreshing their memory what the topic or issue was that you turned in 2 weeks ago or whatnot, and addressing whether it's been updated and going from there. So, and they're working on the request form to be more user-friendly. With curriculum, to me, this is big. I think personally, the week before fall break, our corporation curriculum committee met for the first time, and it's been a long time. We had a great turnout. 16 teachers and administrators met to brainstorm and form a vision going forth for Whitko Community Schools. It's been many years, like I said, that we've had this committee back and running. Our focus, obviously, right now is empowering our math committee members as they work on adopting an aligned curriculum that will support all learners with ample resources and materials for the teaching staff with low maintenance, because teachers have enough to do the way it is now. Testing, you've heard testing about the iLearn checkpoint from all the groups, so I'm not going to repeat that except to say everything went off with no flaws of technology, which is great news because there were a lot of concerns on if things would crash. And as our first checkpoint window closes, our second checkpoint window opens. However, I just applaud all the teachers, which to me this is a no-brainer, knowing our staff. They're looking out for what's best for the kids, not what's best for them. And so waiting towards the end of the checkpoint window makes sense, trying to get all the content covered to help the kids feel at ease, as well as the staff. So I applaud them for that. iLearn biology scores, they were released the week before fall break, so our students performed quite well. In 22-23, 13% passed. Whereas last year, 23-24, 43% of our students passed the iLearn biology assessment. Now, I will say that the assessment itself did have a little bit of makeover, little changes from the 22-23, the 23-24 school year, and then just a reminder, it is different kids too. But again, overall did very well. Our students were 43% proficient, and the state was saying we should have it at 44. So we were 1% off of having meeting the state's goal of proficiency. But overall, our students did well, and again, this is a testament to the teachers as well as to our students that, and we're talking freshmen and a few sophomores. Okay, any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Eddington, I'll turn it over to you.
I'd like to inform you that we have a grant from the state Department of Education, $13,408.96, and that goes toward Mr. Dom's robotics club. So we're excited to be in the mix on that.
Thank you. That's a substantial amount of money.
Yes.
All right, we do have one comment tonight on public agenda items. I have to read the disclaimer. Attendees must register their intention to participate in the public portion of the meeting upon their arrival at the meeting. Public comments are limited to items on the agenda. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and will be requested to preference their comments by an announcement of their name and group affiliation. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes in duration. The presiding officer may request the assistance of law enforcement in the removal of a person when that person's behavior interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting, may call for a recess or an adjournment to another time when the lack of public decorum so interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting as to warrant such actions. And so we have Dave Warner coming in this evening to speak about an agenda item. Dave, you're welcome to come up.
Thank you. I'm David Warner. I live at 301 West Duane Street, South Whitley, Indiana. I'm a graduate of Whitko High School. I've lived in town for about 15 years, and for the past 10 years, I've been on the South Whitley Public Library Board, and I'm currently president. I want to call out a board member, and I want to call him by name for what's going on with why we can't get an approval of someone to our board. Okay, I've never heard of a school board member objecting to a volunteer position being approved. Okay, I understand if people don't like paying tax rates, but they should do that personally and not be on the board and inflict their views why they're on the board. I talked to Mr. Edgerton. I apologize for yelling at you. I'm very upset because somebody's out of their lane trying to tell the South Whitley Library what to do. Okay, Monty Wilkinson can come in and call us all kind of names like he did in September and get away with it, just like his dad used to yell at the school board. And he's not going to run us out, okay? And I'm very disappointed in how this board member has handled the injection into the South Whitley Library. And that's all I got. Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to business reports and consent agenda. We had an extensive list of reports and employment opportunities. I would entertain a motion to accept our public comments, or our business reports and consent agenda as presented.
Accept the business reports and consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we accept the business reports and consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? Motion passes. All right, we're going to move on to new business now. In 7.1, we have a resolution to approve the 2025 budget. I would entertain a motion to approve that resolution.
I make a motion that we approve the 2025 budget as presented.
I second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we accept the resolution to approve the 2025 budget. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? Motion passes. 7.2 is a resolution to approve the 2025 capital project plan. Could I get a motion to accept that resolution, please?
I move we accept the resolution to approve the 2025 capital project plan.
Second.
It's It's been properly moved and seconded that we accept the resolution to approve the 2025 capital project plan. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? The motion passes. 7.3 is a resolution to approve the 2025 bus replacement plan. Could I get a motion for that, please?
I move that we approve the 2025 bus replacement plan.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the resolution to approve the 2025 bus replacement plan. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? The motion passes. 7.4 is the approval of the teacher appreciation grants provided by the state to be paid in December. Could I get a motion, please?
I move we approve the teacher appreciation grants provided by the state paid in December.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the teacher appreciation grants provided by the state to be paid in December. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? The motion passes. 7.5 is the approval of administrator and non-certified staff appreciation stipends, also to be paid in December. Can I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve the administrator and non-certified staff appreciation stipends paid in December.
I second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the administrator and non-certified staff appreciation stipends paid in December. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? The motion passes. 7.6 is the appointment of Chris Shoemaker to the South Willie Community Library Board of Trustees. This would be Mr. Shoemaker's second term on the South Willie Public Library Board, where he serves as treasurer currently. Can I get a motion, please?
I move we approve the appointment of Chris Shoemaker to the South Whitley Community Library Board of Trustees.
I second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we appoint Chris Shoemaker to the South Willie Community Library Board of Trustees. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? The motion passes. 7.7 is the approval of the Jobs for America's Graduates program at the WJSHS, and that's what Mrs. Clark spoke about earlier tonight. Could I get a motion for that, please?
I move that we approve the Job for America's Graduates program at WJSHS.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the JAG Jobs for America Graduates program at the high school, junior high. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
And those opposed? The motion passes. 7.8 is the resolution approving monthly transfers from the Education Fund to the Operation Fund. Can I get a motion, please?
I move to approve the monthly transfers from the Education Fund to the Operations Fund as presented.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the resolution for monthly transfers from the Education Fund to the Operation Fund. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? The motion passes. 7.9 is the approval of the North Manchester First Church of the Brethren congregation members' request to use Whitko school buses for the Way of Christ retreat weekends in Epworth Forest, North Manchester. I don't think that's North Manchester. Is that North Webster?
Webster.
Yes, okay. The church will pay for bus drivers Brock or Gwen Ostrom and Barbette Walters and supply the necessary liability insurance. Can I get a motion for that, please?
I move we approve the use of, for North Manchester First Church to use a Whitko school bus for their transportation.
I second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the North Manchester First Church of the Brethren, their request for Whitko school buses and drivers, knowing that they will provide the necessary insurance. Is there any discussion? Seeing, go ahead.
I'm assuming that they pay for the gas too.
Yes.
It's not listed. Okay.
Yeah, they sure do. Anything else? All right. we can proceed to vote on this. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? The motion passes. 7.10 is the approval of the Memorandum of Understanding between Whitko Community Schools and Ivy Tech Community College for dual credit agreements provided during the 24-25 school year. Could I get a motion, please?
I make a motion, we approve the memorandum of understanding between Whitko Community Schools and Ivy Tech Community College for dual credit agreements.
I second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the Memorandum of Understanding between Whitko and Ivy Tech for dual credit agreements for the 24 and 25 school year. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? Motion passes. 7.11, first reading and approval of the revised policies related to Edgar Uniform Grant Guidance, or UGG, regulations from the Office of Management and Budget. A second reading and final approval will be at the November regular board meeting. Could I get a motion to approve the first reading?
I move that we approve the first reading of the Edgar Uniform Grant Guidance Regulation as provided.
I second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the first reading of the revised policies of the Edgar Uniform Grant Guidance Regulations as provided. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? The motion passes. 7.12, first reading and approval of policies as provided by Neola in Volume 36, Number 2. A second reading and final approval will be at the November regular board meeting. Could I get a motion to approve the first reading, please?
I move that we approve the first reading and approval of the policies as provided by Neola, Volume 36, Number 2.
I second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the first reading of the policies as provided by Neola in Volume 36, Number 2. Is there any discussion?
I would just like to say that this is pretty easy to read this off like this, but it was 55 pages for us to read through and see what was changed and what wasn't. So that's a big deal to have Neola take care of us and send us all the things that need to be changed rather than us having to go through it and do it ourselves.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of approving the first reading of policies provided by Neola in Volume 36, Number 2, signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? Motion passes. 7.13, approval of Friday, May 30th as this year's graduation date with an anticipated start time of 6:30 p.m. This is recommended by the High School Guidance Department. Is there any discussion?
First, you gotta make a motion.
Oh, I guess I should make a motion. Sorry. Could I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve the Friday, May 30th as this year's graduation date.
I second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve Friday, May 30th as this year's graduation date. Anticipated start time, 6:30 p.m. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? The motion passes. And finally, 7.14 is the approval of field trips. Could I get a motion for that, please?
I move that we approve the field trips as presented.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the field trips as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand. Aye. And those opposed? The motion passes. Thank you for that. We're going to move on to old business, which we have none at this time. Miscellaneous administrative items. Dr. Eddington?
Thank you. Would give a shout out to Chad Doms having to do with the robotics, and that is a great thing to be up and running and to get a start with that for our students. And also a shout out to our board member, Georgia. The Indiana School Board Association has called her an exemplary member, and she is honored on the 30th of this month at a dinner that will be held over in Plymouth. On to parent-teacher conferences. Those go backwards number-wise as you move up the grade level. They start at 90-some% for kindergarten and move up to in the 20-ish% at high school. So as the grades go up, the percentages go down, and it's great that teachers work to get those parents in who need they need to talk with the most. Pearston Elementary and the tree was on the playground and has seen, I'm sure, many things over its days there. The limbs, though, a few of those were dead, and others soon to follow, and an evaluation was done, and that's why the tree came down. We wanted kids to be safe, even though that tree, I'm sure, held some memories for somebody back through the years. Would like to thank the South Whitley Public Library for their assistance tonight, and to Lynn Leininger for the budget for us for the next year. And I appreciate so much that he has that ready to go and on time, and we don't have a hidden printing press for money back behind there. He is able to work through the budget without that. Would tell you that our enrollment is down, and we are looking at those students who leave. Some were part of our online academy last year, and we are using a different program this year and aren't out marketing outside of the school district as we were last year. Some of the others who have left, we have worked to make sure that they are enrolled elsewhere, and that they are also continuing their education. And then on to our strategic planning. We have 5 real pillars there. One, student achievement; the next, building capacity; the next, marketing and branding; and then on to buildings and grounds feasibility; and then equitable access of all students to their educational programs and curricular and extracurricular. And I'll make a formal report on that and where we are at the next meeting. And it was just an enjoyable evening to hear that we're off and running, and today is a fourth of the school year completed, plus 1 day. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Eddington. We have no public comments on non-agenda items tonight, so we'll just go over some miscellaneous things here quickly. The school board meets for a work session Wednesday, November 13th in the South Whitley Elementary School cafeteria at 4 p.m. And the regular school board meeting for November will be Monday, November 18 at 6:30 in the lecture room right here in this room. I would entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I move that we adjourn tonight's meeting. I second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn tonight's meeting. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed? The motion passes. The board meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate you being here.